Oh my goodness, folks. You're not going to believe what I just uncovered about King Charles. Hold on to your teacups, because this royal bombshell is about to shake the very foundation of the British monarchy as we know it. I'm absolutely floored by what sources close to Buckingham Palace are revealing, and I can guarantee you won't hear this anywhere else. Now, I know you guys are excited for more. But before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, in one of the most shocking royal developments of the decade, something that absolutely no one saw coming, word is spreading that King Charles is quietly drafting new legislation that would completely transform the monarchy as we know it. This isn't just some minor adjustment to royal protocol or a small modernization effort. We're talking about a complete overhaul that would fundamentally change the institution that has stood for centuries. The details emerging from palace insiders suggest this wasn't planned. It wasn't carefully workshopped through the usual royal channels, and it certainly wasn't what anyone expected from our new king. It's as if Charles, knowing his time on the throne may be limited, has thrown caution to the wind and decided to make his mark in the most dramatic way possible. And let me tell you, the timing couldn't be more suspicious. As we've been watching Charles battle cancer over these past months, the signs of his deteriorating health have become increasingly difficult to ignore. Just look at that recent photo from Sandringham Estate that shows him leaning heavily on his walking stick. The poor man looks exhausted, and royal watchers like myself can't help but notice the similarity to how Queen Elizabeth appeared in her final years when her mobility was severely compromised. What's particularly alarming is this new information about his cancer treatment. Sources are claiming that Charles has abandoned conventional chemotherapy and turned to alternative therapies, specifically the controversial Gerson therapy. For those who don't know, this involves daily coffee enemas, drinking up to 13 organic juices per day, and taking various supplements. Medical professionals are absolutely horrified by this decision, as Gerson therapy has no scientific backing whatsoever. And who's enabling this potentially dangerous choice? None other than Queen Camilla. Instead of reining her husband in and listening to the medical experts, she's apparently encouraging him to push himself to the limit. She wants him to create his legacy, regardless of the toll it's taking on his health. Can you imagine? The very person who should be protecting him is essentially pushing him toward an early grave. Meanwhile, Prince William is reportedly assuming more royal duties behind the scenes, preparing for what many believe is an inevitable transition of power. The palace might deny it publicly, but the writing is on the wall. Charles knows his time is limited, and that's precisely why he's rushing through this radical legislation before it's too late. So what exactly is in this mysterious new legislation? My sources tell me it goes far beyond the minor modernizations we've seen in recent years. This isn't just about slimming down the monarchy or making it more cost-effective. We're talking about fundamental changes to the very nature of royal authority, succession, and the relationship between the crown and the government. One particularly explosive element involves Prince Harry and his children. Despite the very public falling out, Charles is apparently creating a legal pathway for reconciliation that would shock both the royal family and the British public. William is reportedly furious about this provision, seeing it as yet another betrayal by his father, who's determined to appease Harry despite all the damage he's done to the institution. And speaking of William, this legislation would supposedly accelerate certain aspects of the transition process, giving him unprecedented authority even while Charles remains on the throne. It's like a semi-abdication without actually stepping down, something never before seen in British royal history. Charles would retain the crown and ceremonial functions, while William would handle most of the substantive duties and decision-making. The palace staff is reportedly in complete disarray over these plans. Some loyal to the traditional ways are threatening to resign, while others are scrambling to position themselves favorably in what they see as the new order. The tension within those palace walls must be absolutely unbearable right now. What's even more shocking is how Charles has managed to keep this under wraps for so long. In an age of constant leaks and royal gossip, the fact that something this monumental remained secret until now is nothing short of miraculous. It suggests that only his most trusted inner circle has been privy to these plans, perhaps just Camilla and a handful of longtime advisors. And how will the British public react when this bombshell finally drops officially? My prediction is absolute chaos. Monarchists will feel betrayed by such radical changes, while Republicans will seize the opportunity to question the entire institution. The political implications are enormous, potentially triggering a constitutional crisis at a time when Britain can least afford it. Let's not forget the Commonwealth nations either. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and others where Charles serves as head of state will be forced to reckon with these changes as well. Could this be what finally pushes some of these countries to become republics? The ripple effects could be felt for generations to come. I've been covering the royal family for years, but I've never seen anything like this. It's as if Charles, faced with his own mortality and the weight of history, has decided to throw out the royal rulebook entirely. After decades of being constrained as Prince of Wales, unable to fully express his views or implement his vision, he's now making up for lost time in the most dramatic way possible. What makes this all the more poignant is how Charles looks in recent appearances. That bloodshot eye they tried to explain away as just a burst blood vessel, the increasingly frequent use of walking sticks, the wariness that no amount of royal stoicism can hide. This is a man racing against time, determined to leave his mark before his health fails him completely. And let's talk about this alternative therapy for a moment. Medical experts are absolutely horrified that the King of England would abandon proven medical treatments in favor of something with zero scientific evidence behind it. The Gerson method, with its coffee enemas and extreme juicing regimen, has been dismissed by virtually every reputable medical authority. Yet here's our monarch, presumably with access to the world's best healthcare, choosing this path instead. The palace has been desperately trying to keep all this under wraps, of course. There's been no formal statement about ending chemotherapy or embracing alternative treatments, but the signs are there for those paying attention. Charles has been photographed visiting certain wellness clinics. Specific organic products have been delivered to royal residences, and certain staff with backgrounds in alternative medicine have suddenly been added to the royal household. Make no mistake, my friends, we are witnessing history in the making. When future generations look back at the British monarchy, they'll see Charles's reign not as a mere footnote between Elizabeth and William, but as the pivotal moment when everything changed. Whether that change ultimately strengthens or weakens the institution remains to be seen, but there's no denying its significance. And what about our beloved William and Catherine in all this? They've maintained a dignified silence, as always, but inside sources tell me they're deeply concerned, not just about Charles's health decisions, but about the massive burden this legislation would suddenly place on their shoulders. They've been preparing for eventual succession, yes, but not for this accelerated and unprecedented arrangement that Charles is proposing. I truly believe we're weeks, perhaps even days away from an official announcement that will shock the world. The wheels are in motion, the documents are being finalized, and Charles is determined to see this through, despite opposition from within his own family and the establishment. So, there you have it, my royal watchers. The most explosive royal development in decades unfolding right before our eyes. Keep watching this space because I'll be bringing you all the updates as this extraordinary situation continues to develop. And remember, you heard it here first. If you've enjoyed this royal bombshell, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my exclusive royal insights. Until next time, keep calm and carry on watching the monarchy as we know it transform before our very eyes. Ta-ta, and bye for now.